Ace Intel, decoding the leadership taboo. Your next mission? Leadership. Fix the chaos and unlock the genius. Starting now. Last time, we began with the myth of the charismatic leader and how confidence or job competence alone aren't really enough to do this tough job. And today we are stepping into the taboo, the invisible side of leadership where control hides as care and letting go feels like losing yourself. The taboo, letting go feels like losing relevance. But what is really happening here isn't just insecurity, it's identity loss. Most leaders were promoted because they were the best doers. That's what got them recognition. Or were the founders who did everything themselves and then expanded the team and absorbed the role of the leader. And leadership is asking them to stop doing the thing that made them feel valuable, that led them here. So when they let go, it feels like erasing the very thing that made them who they are, right? Like if you ever caught yourself thinking, I will just do it myself, it will be faster. This episode is for you. We begin with maybe the biggest taboo out there. I think it's definitely something that is rarely talked about. And the way leadership is portrayed and taught is that it's charismatic, loud, star of the team, swooping in and managing everything. I mean, there are so many studies showing that this is exactly how we promote people. We think people are great leaders because they are speaking and looking confidently, even if what they say is absolute bullshit. So it's often almost as if this one person could do all the work by themselves and is supposed to be better than anyone else in the room. And this, of course, is such a lie on so many levels. We don't have time to get into all of them today. But why does it matter? And why do we talk about it? Today, still, many leaders secretly believe that their value lies in doing, not enabling. And some of the biggest problems that this taboo causes are the micromanagement, issues with delegation, butting in and becoming organization's bottleneck, and being stuck firefighting issues after they occur instead of preventing them, which is nicely called reactive management. And these are costly in revenues, productivity, mental health, you name it, everyone involved, also you. So we talk about it because it matters whether you only care about numbers, whether you care about mental health, whether you understand that it all works together and it all matters. This taboo touches on all of those areas. And most leaders are not trained to understand that the leadership is not about them, it's about the team. They are not the star, they are there to make it possible and easy for their team to reach the goal. Leaders are the enablers, the problem solvers before the problem occurs. Their job is to see the invisible, think 20 steps ahead, and avoid the problems that can be avoided. So to the untrained eye, it may look like they are not doing anything while they are doing the hard yet invisible job. And it's easy to think that if you are the leader, you are supposed to be the star because that's what everyone is telling you, that's what you see everywhere. That's where we have born geniuses and born leaders and all of those Hollywood stories, and everyone is pushing this narrative. But if I look at my experience, the teams where I went the most into the background and focused more on enabling the team to do their jobs, to be the most successful in their respective fields, while keeping the big picture in mind and just making sure that it all works as one. Those were the most successful ventures, whether it was a project, event creation management, whatever that was, when I as a leader was stepping back into enabling the team to do, and not, oh, I want to do and be the center. That's exactly when the magic was happening. And as you can see, it already begins with the definition of leadership. That we don't even define leadership as what it is, but what we want it to be, or what would make the best story, right? The most interesting story. But then it only continues as this big mix of how we train or not train our leaders, how we promote people who maybe were excellent employees or great doers to the role of the enabler, choosing charismatic stars, or just people who talk a lot without saying anything, and a few other issues that lead to this taken together. But a great leader must achieve a delicate balance between having a good understanding of who is doing what, to be able to manage the resources without becoming the overbearing bottleneck. And it's so much easier said and done. And to be the most hands-on person in the team, it's so much easier than giving up the control and looking like you are not relevant at all. But that changes when you understand the leadership role. And it's that some of the best leaders are exactly, quote-unquote, invisible and look irrelevant. But they are the quiet engine that makes it all possible. The better the leader, the more it will seem like nothing is happening because of all the work they are doing. But if they weren't doing the work, if they were a bad manager, then you could see all the work that they should have been doing. But where did it begin? That idea that you must be loud and visible to matter? Well, in my view, I call it the insecurity and misunderstandings ugly child. It's if you don't understand the value of a great leader and what the job actually entails, you may feel useless if you have nothing to do. And then it's so easy to butt into other people's jobs and becoming micromanager, saying nothing gets done without me and they will not do it right if I won't keep on them. It's a complex issue. So where does it start? Where did it begin? For most of the modern business history, so basically the industrial age, when most of the stupid productivity and efficiency crap began, and most of our modern day problems as well, back then the leadership was defined by output and authority. So the leader's value was tied to knowing more than others, having answers, overseeing and correcting. And it made sense in an era where knowledge wasn't as easily shared, or where it was super scarce and hierarchical, right? Where most systems were rigid and task-based, and where control did ensure consistency and safety, like in the factory line, right? You need that. You need tight control for the safety as well. So in this model of leadership, the letting go means losing control, meaning losing value. But in our society, all of that changed. With technology, most of the jobs that we do now, the way that we work, most of the modern workplace revolves around teamwork, around brain power, about creativity. But most of the old values and ways of doing things stayed in the past, right? Like, it wasn't updated. We are still being taught the ways as they were right in the factory line ages. But we don't update them to match the current landscape of work. And the issue begins, right? Because we teach people to focus on the wrong things, or we don't teach them at all. So we inherited an outdated system of promoting the best employees, of treating it as promotion and natural order, of saying what leadership is, even. And as we already mentioned, these require two very different skill sets, and most are not trained on the transition. Not on the skills and not on the transition period itself, from coming from I do everything more efficient than everyone else, I am really, really good at it, and then getting to the I don't do, I delegate, enable, I oversee and make sure things are being able to be. That's like crashing with the wall, right? And this transition is ignored. It's hard. Who wants to talk about this fear of irrelevance? Who wants to touch upon the topic where it says, well, you will feel irrelevant and people will think you are irrelevant because you don't look like you are doing much, even though if you weren't, then the things would crash and they would see that you are important. No one wants to do that. And we confuse delegating with disappearing. And if you haven't had time to rebuild the sense of worth around creating outcomes through others, you will feel useless and irrelevant, and society will only deepen that feeling. So, yeah, have you ever caught yourself wondering that too, that if you weren't fixing things, would they even notice you? I did. I was even told by my boss once something along those lines, but I will mention that later. So another root cause is how we view and appreciate the leadership. And again, almost everywhere, the people who seem busy are seen as valuable, no matter what they do, whether they do anything at all. And we praise the incompetent leaders who seem like they are doing something because they seem like they are doing something. And let me give you a story here that perfectly shows how we confuse charisma and story-worthy story with competence. So, let's say we are preparing to go for the polar expedition and we need to hire one of the two leaders. We have candidate A, successfully achieved all 4 of the major polar goals, and what's more, 3 of these, he was the first person to do it. Pretty impressive, right? The second candidate, candidate B, he has set for the Antarctic 4 times, 3 times as the man in charge, and every time resulted in failure, catastrophe, or death. Which one should we hire? I don't know about you, but I would not even think about the second candidate and hire the expert, right? Why would you hire someone who clearly is mediocre at best at what they are doing if you can hire someone who is an expert? But in the real world, we celebrate incompetence. And how do you know? Well, those 2 candidates, they were the real polar explorers. And in the past centuries, one of them is celebrated as the heroic leadership model. He had books, TV series, article, blogs, you name it. He's the icon. He's the candidate B. You know, the one with literally failed or led people to death. He's the celebrated icon to follow. Ernest Shackleton. And the candidate A, the clear expert, the arguably the most successful polar explorer that ever lived, well, Roald Amundsen is often forgotten, even in the polar expedition circles, right? So, at least to me, when I found this fact, I was like, what the hell? Why would we prefer the failure, or to be nice, mediocrity at best, and even worse, celebrate that, instead of someone who was a true role model to follow? And yeah, the difference? Well, candidate A, he was prepared well. He anticipated everything ahead of time. He calculated, checked, prepared. He knew what to do before he had to do it. It was quiet, boring story of success. He spent time preparing. He knew what to do. He knew how to react, and he did it. It seems, anyone could do it, right? And the famous one, he winged it, ran on charisma and being full of himself. He ignored the advice of the local whalers. He overlooked the shortage of equipment, preparation, crew selection, training. And in one expedition, 3 of his men died. But that return made it seem so much more successful, right? It was a story. And that's a problem. We glorify chaos over calm. We celebrate recovery more than prevention. We want the exciting Hollywood story to tell, right? But there should be none. I read it somewhere that nobody ever gets credit for fixing problems that never happened. And that's the issue. But if you can fight them, join them, right? Isn't it so much easier to become performative leader than be the invisible one? It hurts pride and often also costs you the opportunities. I remember when I was told by my boss something along the lines of, I know you do a lot of work, but it's not visible. And in the moment, it hurt like hell. I honestly wasn't sure what I'm supposed to even say. But while I may not get on the cover as the most famous leader out there, I do know that I will successfully lead and make impossible seem easy. Which is why I'm here doing this. But it's a complex taboo that merges the outdated ways of teaching and training and understanding leadership to begin with emotional transition, with ego, with misunderstanding of the role, with society's perception and personal development. Again, it's complex. It's a mess. And that taboo exists because it makes you ask the question, what if they don't need me anymore? And this is scary. Who wants to be useless, irrelevant, right? But, and it's a big but, that's existential. It's not about the skill. It's about ego, meaning, and belonging. In my opinion, ignoring the soft and people side, and I really hope I will find another way to call the quote-unquote soft side of leadership, because I really don't like the implication here, but basically ignoring the people side of leadership directly led us here. Most still believe it's useless, hard to measure, or simply nice to have. And yes, it's hard to measure somebody's adaptability or psychological evolution from doer to enabler. But you can measure the outcomes. Team's productivity, engagement, motivation, the company's growth. Falsely, there is still this idea that business growth comes from the hard KPIs and processes. It doesn't. It starts and ends with people. If you don't have people, you won't have any KPIs or processes met. But it's much easier to create a simple checklist to tick off than to talk about complexity of human nature and of different personalities working together, isn't it? But that's where the core of the leadership is. The real power of leadership is not control, it's creation. And if we start the conversation and discussion about it, I hope it would be easier to not only understand it, but to overcome it as well. Because leadership is about zooming out of yourself and seeing things from the bigger perspective. You are ensuring that all the parts work as they need to, and that they have everything they need to reach the common goal. And it's leader's job to oversee it. If your employees or team members are doing great, this is fantastic news. It means you can focus more on the other tasks, on new projects, on higher level visions, instead of solving daily problems. Having a competent team you don't need to micromanage is not the problem, it's the goal. And that doesn't make you useless, because their job is to be the best they can be at doing their job. Your task is to make sure that all the team members and all the parts work together towards one goal and not pulling into 10 different ones. So that job is visible in the well-working team, in met deadlines, in reached goals, in high motivation, productivity, engagement of the team, in trusting and harmonious team. That may be invisible job, but it's priceless and you can see the results. So maybe it's time to redefine relevance. Because real relevance isn't about being needed. It's about making things work so well that you don't have to be. And with that, I leave you. Until next time.